Well, today is the day we're going to make a honeysuckle bow and arrow set. It got a bit of a snow dump, but hey, we can still make it work. Let's go see what we can find.
So first we're going to start out with the bow. What we're going to be going for actually is a longer, skinnier branch. Since we're going to go with green bows right now, instead of the standard cut the wood and let it season and then make it all perfect, we're just going to go with the standard functional bendy stick. And the bendy stick can be very strong, but it just needs to be tillered properly and have the right dimensions to it. So basically, I'm just looking for a straight stick, or if it's really poor materials, I tend to like to have it have a little bit of bend in it towards the direction that you're going to be bending it anyway. And then, I cut off both ends, and then I start tillering it. It's basically, pretty simple, but for every wood, there's a level of quality to it, and you just have to, make a longer, bigger bow the crappier it is, basically. Yeah. So now that we got our stick, first thing I want to do is find a center point on it. And the center point can be found pretty easily. You can just use your body measurement. This bow happened to go center right to my armpit, so I just find the center point, I reverse it, see if it lines up about the same length on my other arm, and then you can adjust it. It doesn't have to be precise. You can eyeball it just as well for the function that you're trying to achieve from it. So anyway, now I'm tillering it, and what that's doing is it's basically removing wood from the center of the handle to the tips of the handle, and the further, the center of the handle to the tip of the limb, and the further that you get towards the tip, you want to be removing more and more wood. So your handle's going to have the thickest amount of wood, your tips are going to have the thinnest amount of wood, and you're just going to have an even decreasing amount of wood basically the whole way towards the tips. So with your knife and this tapping method, it can be a little bit uncontrolled at first, so you just want to tap really lightly. Oh yeah, and as I was making the bow, there was these deer, and they're just walking by. It was just kind of crazy. They were pretty cool. Yep, they were pretty close. I love the suburbs on that regard. I'm just banging away at a stick. But anyway, so I flipped the bow over, and now I'm going down the other side. It can go pretty fast. The better you get at it, at the tapping the knife, realistically, it works really well. But it's just a little easier to go too deep within the bow. So you go too deep in any one area, the pressure of the limb is going to go all to that area. It's going to be your weakest link, basically. So your bow is only going to be able to be as strong as all the pressure that weakest spot can take. So that's why it's so important to have an even decreasing amount of wood towards the tips. Even being the very, very, very emphasized point. So if you can figure out tillering simply by taking a little stick, a little foot-long stick or whatever, and practicing this concept, just start carving it from the center towards the tip, and you'll be able to see in the places where you carve too deep, it all bends there in that area. So now we have this basic, this is very, very basic tiller. Here's a notch style from the branch. I'm going to be cutting that. This is checking the tiller. Sorry for the angle of the shot, but it's it's bending. Just checking the evenness of the bend. You can bend it right against the ground at that angle. You can step through the bow just like that to string it up. This is what the strung up bow looks like. It took like 20 minutes, if that. And here we go.